Good morning. My name is Nicole Casperson, and I'm here with DS News and M Reports. We are here with Doug Smith from Castle Rock Capital, fresh from his panel off the Investment Lab. Doug, could you please share with our readership maybe the biggest takeaway from the panel or anything that really stood out to you?
I think it was a great panel, number one. We had some great industry experts, Jody Gaines, Ted Weinstein, George Hong. And everyone on that panel really knew their stuff, and they were from very diverse backgrounds. What we did notice, and what we heard from our audience, were that people are really hurting as far as finding assets. Big guys like Invitation Homes, and you can't knock them. They're making money, but they're buying. Goldman Sachs, they're buying everything inside as far as non-performing loans, as far as performing loans, as far as reperforming loans, properties. It's harder and harder for the small guy to compete. And so I think the biggest takeaway are people are really hurting as far as being able to find assets to fill their portfolios, and they're struggling to learn how to do that. Some of the takeaways that I found kind of interesting were that we've had very anemic GDP growth. So the gross domestic product has been somewhat anemic, and incomes have grown, but not at the level that housing prices have. So what we're finding is people that want to buy rentals are having to pay a lot more for those prices, and rents maybe aren't climbing as much as to get them the yields to in a commensurate level. And then of course you've got people that have got to be able to afford that. And with incomes going slower than rent prices, that's a struggle for folks.
What do you think is something that people can start to implement to better advance all these challenges?
We found that you can't go toe-to-toe with some of the big guys. You just can't do it if you're a smaller or medium-sized operator. Where you can find some success is perhaps we talked about a secondary or even a tertiary market. And what I mean by that for instance, I'm from windy Tampa, Florida. We're doing this interview right after Hurricane Irma ripped through. But Tampa is really a primary market. It seems that every big guy wants to buy property in the Tampa Bay market. So for an operator that focuses on that market, they struggle to be able to compete. If you can step out a little bit into a secondary market, now if I'm in Florida, maybe I talk about Lakeland, Florida, or Ocala, Florida, markets that are a little bit out of where the big guys are looking, but still you have a strong rental base to be able to build a portfolio. That seems to be some of the best advice that we can find.
All right, thank you so much for that. Any last insight you would like to add about the lab, maybe something that really stood out to you?
I think the strength of the questions that came from the audience and really the expertise in the panel that Five Star had put together, really very impressive, and a lot of great information went out. So if I had any takeaway, it was that we honestly did not have enough time to answer all the questions, and I would love to sit down with everybody that had a question, but the problem is that the topic was just so great and the experts were so good that we really couldn't cover everything. So maybe not what you wanted, but that's my takeaway.
I mean, that's great. Maybe next year we'll throw in some more time and get some more insight.
Well, I certainly hope so. I certainly hope so. It's been a great conference, great panels, great people all the way around, and we really appreciate the invitation to come out.
Well, we appreciate you coming out. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.